p.m. I will call the meeting of the Board of Sewer Commissioners to order. It is June 25th, 2024. The Zoom chat will not be monitored. Participants who wish to speak must raise their hand, the hand icon, until the chair asks them to unmute. Note, this meeting is being televised, streamed, or recorded by Bourne TV. If anyone in the audience is recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. Mr. Michael Rausch. If anyone from the public wishes to access the meeting, they can do so by calling the following conference line: 1-929-205-6099. Zoom meeting ID 884-3036-4341. Password sewer. All items within this meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes by the Board of Sewer Commissioners. Sorry. All right, so let's start with a moment of silence and recognize our troops and our public safety personnel. Salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Somebody want to take on the reading of the vision and mission this evening?
I'll do the vision. Bourne is a proud community that embraces change while respecting the rich heritage of the town and its villages. It is a municipality based on strong fiscal government with a durable economy that recognizes the rights of all citizens, respects the environment, especially the coastal areas of the community, and the amenities that it affords. Bourne embraces excellent education and offers citizens a healthy, active lifestyle.
Thank you. So I don't see it on here. Public comment is not on our agenda, but we do have to offer that, correct? It's the beginning.
Do you want to do the mission too?
Yeah.
Do the mission. Oh, sorry. Yes. You're going to do that, Peter?
Sure.
Sorry.
I want to
I just realized that.
maximize
I thought you did them both.
our mission statement. I want to maximize opportunities for social and economic development while retaining an attractive, sustainable, and secure coastline and environment for the enjoyment of residents and visitors. Through responsible and professional leadership and in partnership with others, Bourne will serve to improve the quality of life for all residents living and working in the larger community.
All right. Thank you, Peter. I'm glad your eyes are really good. You can see that from your seat. I'm impressed. All right. So public comments are...
I don't see anyone.
I don't see anyone. Nobody signed up for public comment. All right. I guess we're good there then. I don't have to go through the speech. Okay. Moving on. So, number 4, we have a discussion this evening. ARPA funds currently earmarked for Hideaway Village low pressure project, releasing these funds to be used to address an emergency capital needs at the middle school. Do we have anyone coming to present on this, or is it going to be Matt and Marlene, or online?
It looks like Carrie might be up in the right.
Oh, I see her.
Superintendent is in.
Hi.
I'm happy to start and speak to the financial piece. In your packet, there's a brief memo from me explaining the new financial policy that is now in place for the capital improvement process. And it does have a process outlined for emergency requests, which includes the votes by the finance committee and by the select board. So this was discussed last night by the finance committee, and it is scheduled for July 2nd for the select board. However, I think it's important for you as the Board of Sewer Commissioners to also have an opportunity to speak as sewer commissioners, because the funding plan outlined in the memo talks about a trade-off between the emergency request and ARPA funds that have been earmarked for upgrades to the low-pressure sewer system. So that's why the sewer commissioners are included in the discussion. The request is just over $250,000, and I'm required to make a recommendation on funding, and I recommend the use of
Marlene. Dr. Joe, go right ahead. Good to see you.
Yes, thank you. So first of all, I want to thank you for considering this. I won't be able to speak as in detail as my colleague Gordon Dice is, and unfortunately he couldn't make it tonight, but I can give you the basics. So, if you recall, we have about $40,000 committed through the last town meeting to buy a compressor. It's one of two compressors for this chiller at the middle school. The chiller cools the administrative offices, where we have some of our computers, including the server room, and the Western Media Center. So when they fired it up, say about a week into June, when we got the first hot days, they realized everyone was also shut, and something occurred, I'm not an engineer, but something occurred where it flooded the system, and so the entire chiller was deemed to be a lot more money to repair than to replace. So that's kind of the basics in layman's terms. So as part of your backup, you do see there, I'll point out a couple of things. There is a very long lead time, so it's in there at about 34 weeks, and that's from the day we sign the contract. So we're awarded funding through one of these two mechanisms. From that point on, it will be 34 weeks. The benefit of doing it sooner is that we can underwrite this time next year. Hopefully have it in place well before May, because there have been some times when May becomes extremely hot. And especially, I mean, the administrative offices were able to put window units in and kind of keep it at a cool level. The bigger concern is obviously the computer areas and mostly the media center, because if you remember 2 years ago during the really hot spell that we had in June, we actually had multiple classes of students from the top floor come down to the media center, so it is a place of refuge in classes. So the lead time is 34 weeks, so if it were approved through one mechanism, which would be possibly through the earmarked money for the sewer, we would be able to get it in place well before the time we would need it again. If it were not, then we're not sure that it would hit in time for the June. But again, that's completely your call, and we're very thankful that you're considering it. The other piece that's on the backup, just as a clarifier, is they did quote us a temporary cooling chiller installment. We were just interested to know, what it might cost if we kind of did a temporary fix with the lead time being so long. But because it is an exorbitant fee, monthly fee, and installation, we are not proposing that we have that cost. We would just be asking for the capital piece to replace and repair it. I'll be happy to answer questions, although I have to preface that I might not be able to, but I will get back to you if there's things that I can't answer that Jordan can.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zoe. Anyone from the board have any questions, comments? Start there. Discussion. Go ahead, MJ.
Matt, can you give us sort of like where we are on the low pressure system? I mean, I feel like the low pressure system ARPA funding was earmarked a while ago. We went out to bid. They came back, the proposals weren't accepted. We had to go back out to bid. The proposals were divergent in terms of what they were proposing. And we did, I think, choose someone, but then you kind of came in and got involved. And so I'm trying to understand where we are with this and balance it with having a plan for a project that we've been implementing and then interrupting that plan,
So we signed a contract with Beta.
Okay,
We've had multiple meetings with them. They've done preliminary design work with information from the Hideaway Village. We should be receiving preliminary plans in a week or two to
Okay.
begin looking at. So those would probably be 30 to 60% design plans. We'll go closely over those and make any changes. I think the long-term goal was to have a contractor on board by December. That was so, however our space works, was to have it bid in, if everything worked out, September, October, and a contractor signed by January 1st.
to meet the ARPA funding commitment
Correct.
of 12/31.
Correct.
That's it.
My question to you, it could, in Erica's memo, it says here, progress on the low pressure system upgrades will be suspended until funding is obtained from town meeting. So you're saying that, so basically what is, what gets told MJ is the work, are we gonna be hurting this, this project at all if we move these funds around and then,
We would not be able to do construction.
oh, I know that, but I'm just saying, I mean, is that gonna be a cost issue too? Because the longer you wait, I mean, granted, it's a bid project, so that shouldn't affect it, but I just feel bad, 'cause we took a position, we committed to one thing, and now all of a sudden, we're changing it midstream. I just don't like the optics of it. I know why we have to do it. But it just seems like every time something happens, all of a sudden, we gotta change up, basically. And, but I can understand the necessity of why we need to do it for the school. I know reserve fund transfers are for things that are unforeseen. The last issue that happened to this unit was unforeseen, because when they went to turn it on, to fire out the second stage, things failed. So couldn't you pull some money out of the fund, since it was unforeseen, some of the problems here, is there any justification to take some of this money out of out of the reserve fund? And if we do that, what would the balance be?
So Marlene, that might be something we'd ask Marlene. Did you hear
Yes.
Peter? I'm not sure. Just want to make
Yes,
sure. Okay.
so, the financial policy states that the town administrator has to provide the funding plan for the emergency request, and I am not recommending using the reserve fund. As you may recall, that was funded, we originally funded it at $250,000 for FY '25. We were able to bump that up slightly. If this project were to be funded out of the reserve fund, we would essentially have 20 grand in the reserve fund, and that is not a recommendation I'm comfortable making for the town.
Thank you, Marlene.
And that's why I was wondering what the.
Yeah.
Anne Marie, any questions, comments?
No, that was
That
pretty
was your
much-
question
yeah.
too? Yeah, I think that's where I was going. Jay, go ahead.
So, this is, I'm really concerned about this. I'm not in favor of doing it. And part of it has to do with, this isn't the first time that, well, one of my concerns has to do with the fact that last fall, in the capital plan, they only asked for the $40,000 for a compressor replacement, instead of looking at what does the whole system need. And, back in the fall, when they requested 40,000, because they had one compressor down in a 25-year-old system that had bad old refrigerant in it. So this is bothering me, because the same thing happened at the wastewater treatment plant. They had a 2018, that at the middle school, they had a 2018 report that said you have to replace the HVAC. If you don't replace the HVAC, things are going to happen. The parts are gonna be destroyed, and then they didn't replace the HVAC even though they had the money, and the parts were destroyed. So, in the bigger scheme of things, we need a better way of doing capital planning with the schools. So that, this is not anything that's been reviewed by the Capital Outlay Committee. They haven't seen it. They don't know it. I mean, they're talking about using Train. I mean, is this something, it's a $250,000 project, should it go out to bid? I mean, 34-week, I mean, they're telling us it's a 34-week delay, but, I mean, is that because it's May or June? And if we don't order it till November, is it still gonna be a 34-week delay? So I'm in favor of waiting till the fall. I'm in favor of having this go to the town meeting and the 250,000 get voted by the town meeting, and then, hopefully they can accelerate the 34 weeks and get it, for the spring. If they order it right in November, the funds are available in November to order it, so.
True, and
Right.
then might have
Well, it's
even
not something that's on a shelf, it's something that they have to fab,
Yeah.
that's why it takes that long.
time, yeah.
Yeah, it takes time to. But who knows at that point if, something's in process and, right?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's a tough call, but 34 weeks is pretty much standard for that type of, equipment.
I'm comfortable
To-
waiting the town meeting in October and doing it then as part of the capital discussion.
It's not gonna change anything for
Then we
the
vet the
summer.
process, right? Then we, then it goes through the capital process and,
Right.
Yeah.
which is what we've been trying to sort of adhere to, to get a handle on capital spending.
Right. If I had looked at the capital plan and seen $200,000 in FY '27 for the chiller unit, where I felt that there was a good capital plan, but I don't see that. It's not even on the capital plan, on the 5-year plan. So, my recommendation is to leave the funding for Hideaway with ARPA and to pursue this at,
Peter, you agree with that? Well, we'll
Well,
vote, we'll vote.
is that your motion?
Can I just, I
Yeah,
just want to
better
say very
Gina.
quickly, if there's
Yeah.
any comments, anyone online have any comments, further comments, or anything to add? Seeing no hands,
I make a motion that we deny this request,
for using ARPA funds.
using ARPA funds to,
we have a second.
I'll second.
All right, so we have Peter made the motion to deny using the ARPA funds and move it to fall town, special town meeting. We have a second from MJ, Mary Jane Mastrangelo. Any further discussion? Okay. So,
roll call.
yeah,
Because
that's
Jean's
because
on
Dean's online, we have to do a roll call vote. All right, I'll just start with MJ,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Melissa, yes. 5-0-0, unanimous to deny the request and move toward fall town meeting. All right. Let's see, here we go. Number 5, reserve funds transfer requests. And that, I do believe we're giving to Matt.
So, we would like to utilize the $100,000 reserve fund, to offset the cost of 2 projects. The first is to offset the cost of sludge. So, sludge is the byproduct of the wastewater treatment facility. We haven't really had a grasp until recently on what we were gonna produce for sludge and what the costs were gonna be. So, the sludge is purchased through Weston and Sampson as a pass-through. They run the plant, so they run it all. So we've gone through and kind of recreated all of the costs that have been associated with sludge to this point. So last year we only budgeted $12,000. So far this year we're up to $87,000 in sludge removal.
Wow.
So we'd just like to transfer $44,825 from the reserve fund to offset that costs.
44, it says 43 here.
I'm sorry, 43,825.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, yeah, 43,820. I'm sorry. that was my-
No, that's right.
And we did for future budgets, we did budget $80,000 going forward.
Sure.
So I also did add to your packets just this afternoon under the agenda. We did go back and recreate FY '22 and FY '23, the
Did we
cost
get
of
an
sludge.
email or something with this?
It's a piece of paper. I just did it this afternoon. It should be right under your agenda.
Oh, okay. I was looking at
Now
the
I-
slide.
Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry.
Now I
So-
understand.
I'm sorry.
It's got it right.
In FY '23, it was $52,000. We didn't have I didn't have access to all the invoices at the time I did this.
Yeah.
And in FY '22, it was $42,000. In the O&M manual for the treatment plant, when the plant's fully operational, 100,000 gallons a day, we'll be doing about twice a week, 6,500 gallons. So you're looking at probably, right now would be $155,000, based on what we're paying now, but the cost of sludge is constantly going up.
So can
So
you
as-
say 2 times a week for how many gallons?
It would be 6,500 twice a week per the current O&M manual. So as we bring you.
100,000 gallons?
Yes. So, but hopefully as we bring users on, the cost will be added to the budget as we treat more water. But we should be able to offset it as the users come on, is the hope of it.
So,
Who sets the rates?
It's
Contract.
whoever the haulers are that Weston Sampson
Oh.
contracts with.
Dollars,
Yeah.
yeah.
And is it a direct cost, or do Weston Sampson mark it up?
Matt Weston Sampson marks it up. It goes through Weston Sampson.
So they do mark it up?
Yep. But they also make the calls to when it comes in. They handle all the orders.
Manage it,
Yes.
so basically,
And the way our plant works is there are some plants out there that can dewater more of the sludge, and so they still have high costs, but they're not paying for some of the, our plant isn't capable of that, so all of the sludge we produce is being taken out,
It has to be removed.
yes.
Okay. Any other questions, MJ?
Yeah, I do have a
Yes,
question.
please go ahead.
So why in FY '24 were they pumping constantly 5, 6, 7,000 gallons as opposed to pumping? What's the capacity for holding the sludge? Why are they? I mean, because I would think that the cost for each time they. I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like the cost for each time they do it at 5,000 ends up costing us more. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
So the
but-
tank's 10,000 gallons.
Okay.
The slip I gave you today was just, that was done much
All right.
quicker than this, so this is a whole
Okay.
month.
So that's
worth
a
of-
month's worth.
Yes,
it
yeah, that's a
costs.
month's worth of pumping.
Okay.
And so it's the sludge removal, and occasionally if they have an emergency and they have to pump out of the equalization tanks or out of the membrane filter tanks, that'll also be considered sludge as part of the operating cost. And that doesn't happen frequently, but maybe once or twice a year, if there's an emergency, there may be costs.
That's
to
what I
take
was
that
gonna
out.
ask, was sort
Yes.
of about, because I saw there was a dozen emergency visits,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure what those were.
Are those
Plus
related to
from-
events?
There,
The 24,000 gallons probably.
that was over the summer when they were having issues with some of the electronics and the VFDs over there.
Is that common in this situation?
The cost of sludge is
For
a
other
problem for
other
everyone.
municipalities and other
Yes.
places,
Well,
okay.
it's just costly to
All right.
dispose of it.
Can I just ask one more
Please, go,
question?
please,
Is,
please.
this is a little bit of my concern, is that we had a retrofit of the plant, and I want to say it was in March of 2023, right? Where they came in and retrofitted the plant and gave us like a new system to reduce whatever overflow foaming stuff that they were doing. And what's concerning me is that I don't believe the flow in the plant has changed that much between 2023 and 2024, but the amount of sludge is greatly increased. And I'm just suspicious always, as you know. So one of the things that I would like Kubota to answer is the change or the retrofit of the plant mean that the bug mechanism bio thing is not, aren't the bugs
not
supposed to
eating
eat the sludge? I mean, isn't that
They
part
eat
of it?
part of the sludge, but the sludge is still, all the solids still don't go through the membrane. They still
Right.
go into the sludge tank.
Okay,
So I don't know exactly what the retrofit was.
okay.
I haven't seen any. I'm not exactly sure
Okay.
what that retrofit was.
Yeah, and so this is news to you, but we had a couple of situations where there were overflowing foam overflows in the plant,
Yep.
which caused huge cleanup things. And it was something that Kubota had to fix in the plant. So they came in and did a retrofit. I don't know what the retrofit was. It's Corey Rapucci was the one that was involved with Kubota on that. They paid for the retrofit. We didn't pay for it. But I'm really curious, just because from 281,000 to 400 and something thousand, I mean, that's a pretty big jump with not a lot of change in gallonage. So, that's my concern. And I'm not opposed to the reserve fund. We have to pay the bill, so I'm not opposed to that. But I'm also, I'm looking for some more of an explanation, because that seems like based on what they told us, the cost per gallon for operating the plant, if we're gonna be spending $160,000 on sludge, that only leaves $100,000 for all the other things that they said that we had to pay for. And are they telling us that $155,000 is normal sludge operating?
Based on the O&M manual, it's going to be twice a week at 6,500 gallons.
Okay.
And that comes out to about 155,000 in the end. I mean, the plant is going to cost us fully operational much more than they tell you $250,000.
They said 260,000, they gave us $1 cost per gallon. You know, it was probably not that accurate, but, and obviously costs have gone up. Just the electricity cost alone has gone up since we were getting those numbers in 2019, 2020. So I understand that. Okay. Thank you. I don't have a problem with making the transfer. It's just something I would like to have monitored in the future because I'm very concerned. I'd like to know how many gallons we processed.
So right now, we're doing about 60,000 gallons a day.
Really?
And we were doing about, when I looked back, between 37 and 55 in the past couple of years. So we're up a little bit at the,
Yeah.
like, it's a consistent 60,000 gallons
Yeah,
a day.
EP is kind of used to, oh, you're only using like 40,000 gallons a day, so they're probably not up to speed on what it is now.
No, we get the monthly reports, and we're up
Okay.
around 60,000.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve the reserve fund transfer request.
Do you want me to go over
I
the
was gonna
second
say,
part?
yeah, I
of
was
it?
gonna
Yeah,
ask,
well,
should we
there's
do
two
number
parts
2
to that.
first, and then we
There's
can
two,
maybe,
yeah.
we can do them
One
together? Because it's one lump sum.
That's how you.
Sure, if you don't mind.
So the second request for reserve fund transfer is $56,175. And this was, after the wastewater treatment facility was built, there was drainage issues that were discovered. And so there was a project that was put out in the fall and completed. At that time, the project was paid for out of the treatment plan article. When we went back and looked at it, we had the money in the reserve fund to take it out of the operating budget. We don't think it's necessarily a cost that should be within the loan or within the treatment plant article. So we feel like it would be best to take it out of the reserve fund at this time and take it out of the operating budget for this year.
Okay.
It's that, this is probably a question for Eric, and I don't know if she can answer. Did we already borrow for that money? Or are we returning unborrowed money, or what happens with the money that was going to be used?
Sure. So it's not money that we've already borrowed. It's going to offset for some ineligible costs that SRF wouldn't cover. So we've already borrowed the things that we need and less is coming in. So SRF wouldn't cover this. We couldn't submit this for reimbursement.
Okay, so we hadn't borrowed for it yet.
We have not.
Okay.
Melissa,
Yes.
can I just, if you don't mind, while we're on this topic, I just want to kind of lay the groundwork a little bit. So as Erica mentioned, we are at the point now where SRF is essentially final, and there is a shortfall. So what we are doing here is by moving the cost of that drainage project into the operating budget, we're freeing up that space to use the project to cover the SRF reimbursement shortfall.
Okay.
So this is something that we will come back and talk to you more about prior to town meeting, but just so kind of we can set the table a little bit, because this doesn't cover the entire shortfall, so we will have to fill the rest of the gap prior to town meeting.
Thank you, Marlene. Anyone else? Peter? Anne Marie? No?
I just have one thing. We are not approving the reserve fund transfer. We are requesting the reserve fund transfer. The reserve fund transfer is approved by the finance.
Do you want to make the
So
motion?
the motion would be, I move that we request the $100,000 reserve fund transfer as recommended.
Second.
Second, Peter, okay, so we have a motion by MJ to, say that again, I'm sorry, just a little louder. Motion.
Request to transfer the $100,000 from the reserve fund as presented.
As presented.
And
We have a
recommended.
second from Peter, and we need to do roll call as we have Jean online. So I'm going to start with you, Jean.
Yes.
Anne Marie.
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
MJ.
Yes?
Melissa, yes. 500. Unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Um,
All right, moving on. So we have a sewer service application for 21 St. Margaret Street. I'm assuming we have some folks online for that. I see Mr. Patel and, okay, and Timothy, correct? It's kind of far away, so I apologize if I got that wrong. Go right ahead, sir. You have the floor.
Sure, thank you very much. My name is Tim Power with PBI Site Design, Civil Engineer, Massachusetts. We put together an application for Ashok Patel and for the site at 21 St. Margaret Street for a future hotel and residential use and retail, sort of a mixed-use project. We're in the early stages. We had a meeting with the department heads not too long ago, and the suggestion came up about requesting the sewer allocation for this project. So while I know the application asks questions like dig safe number and actual application, we're not really there yet. We're just trying to get the application in. We're at the moment we're looking at about 100 room hotel and up to 50 residential units on top of the existing retail, which is I believe is Liberty Liquors. So that building will be retrofitted with something on top. Obviously a long way to go as far as permitting and review wise, but we have a reasonable plan for parking and zoning with a reasonable amount of relief, so that goes through that process. But the recommendation from Tim was to come in and get try to get the sewer allocation there. So doing the math that was presented, we're requesting a total of 22,000 gallons per day. Just based on those uses described and using Title V design flow numbers. Happy to answer questions more about the project or the sewer or whatever the board might need.
All right, thank you so much, Timothy. All right, so go to discussion. I'm gonna start with MJ. You ready? Want to kick it off? I'm sure you have questions. I know you do.
Well, I just want to note, this is kind of I'm a math person, so it said that the existing is 222 gallons and the request is 22,000. So they don't subtract the 222 from the 22,000, or is that we just do the 22,000?
I put it in there. We can if you want to do that to the preliminary allocation. We could do that if you wanted to. That was their usage last year for the liquor store.
Yeah, we usually give them credit. It's not
Okay.
a lot of money, but it is.
Okay.
And so with this and the numbers that we have available based on the total approved of 276,598, a total available 23,402, this would leave us with 1,600.
Yeah, now I got to do the math
24.
with the new, with the new.
Under the new thing, and it'll change the actual, fees a little slightly bit, but, we have it available. But I'm thinking that, and so I think it sounds like a great project. And I understand, I think it's good to get your sewer allocation now before you start spending a lot of money on design and find out there isn't sewer allocation available. So this is why we have the preliminary allocation. So, yeah, I think it looks good. It looks like a great project.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it'll be a real addition to Buzzards Bay, and I, think you'll have fun with the planning board, getting it exactly the way they want it.
I think it's great there's some residential units there as well.
Residential,
Yeah,
hotel. I mean, I think it looks like retail. I think it's really like what we're trying to do, so I think it's like really great. So, and we have it. I think we're just gonna have to, as sewer commissioners, we're gonna have to decide what we're gonna do about some of the outstanding, things, particularly allocations that haven't paid a preliminary allocation fee because they were grandfathered before we implemented those, but they have the allocation, and so those, we are gonna have to
Review those, yeah.
review those and have a hard discussion on it, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
was
would,
thinking that. Yep.
Is it 21,778 now?
Yes.
22.
Yeah, I guess did it.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Please.
do you plan on constructing the residential and the hotel at the same time, or do you feel as though there'll be a gap between them?
The owners on here, Struck, I don't know if he has, I can elaborate on plans, but I think probably the hotel would be first.
I'm listening. Thank you, Tim. This is Ashok. Nice to meet everybody.
Hello, Mr. Patel, go ahead.
Thank you, guys. So the plan is to commence the hotel first, but while we are in the construction, it may all well be at the same time. We really don't have a detailed schedule yet, but depending on the construction season which we're able to catch, it could go all at the same time.
Very good, thank you.
Are you gonna design it all together, though? So that it's all like, so you're gonna go for one permit,
All
yeah.
in one permit.
Yeah, we're gonna go for one site plan approval, one permit, for the approval process, and we do wanna get a design, we do wanna get all the design in at the same time, so that the project looks like it's all put together with one intent instead of multiple phases, you know?
Sounds great. Okay, so,
Make a motion that we approve an allocation for 21,778 gallons.
All right.
I'll second.
So we have a motion on the floor from Peter to approve the application to to allocate 21,778 gallons for 21 St. Margaret Street. We have a second from MJ, Mary Jane Mastrangelo.
For an
And
area,
I- go ahead.
for an area that was pretty depressed at one point. I mean, the parking lot of Liberty Warehouse Liquors was used for maritime parking for many years in the interim. I mean, we had a bank at one time that left the village. You know, and now we have the Eagles on one side, we have the dry cleaners on the other. You know, I think this reuse and vision for this property will only enhance the area. And maybe other properties across the street and around will jump on board, because usually new growth stimulates other growth. So hopefully this will be the beginning of stimulating some more development over in that area, because we sure need it.
Thank you. All right, roll call. Jean?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
yes.
Melissa, yes. Unanimous, 5-0-0, all in favor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your progress.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, team. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Have a great night and a great evening.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. You're up again, Matt. It's your show tonight. DPW Director's Report.
So, we had an issue that came up yesterday that, we had another ammonia spike at the wastewater treatment facility.
You had a
So,
what? I'm
An
sorry.
ammonia spike,
Ammonia.
and a quaternary ammonium spike at the treatment plant. So it killed most of the bugs in the plant, so we're going to
Ugh.
have to reseed the plant again. So I believe this happened one other time at the start of the process.
Yes.
So we're taking a little more of a approach this time. So it started at the beginning of last week, and Weston and Sampson took samples, and the levels were very high. It was 11 at the equalization tank and 90 inside the membrane filters. And it should be anything above 4 will start killing the bugs. So so the plant's still running, but what we're doing now is we're going to try to locate the source. So we went out today and grabbed samples from certain locations in the system to try to see where the levels are coming from. And we also spoke to all the businesses that feed into the plant to see if they've had any changes in their cleaning agents or anything. And so we're going to analyze all that information, hopefully be able to get back to where the problem is, because what we don't want to do is reseed the plant until we know exactly where the source is.
Right.
So we have photos of all the chemicals in the facilities. And so just to, so you know too, the only businesses that feed the plants are Perry Ave East. So it's Perry Ave towards the Bourne Rotary. So it's a smaller area for us to work with anyway, which helps the situation.
Yeah.
So we don't want to send it to Wareham. We don't want to make our problem theirs. We probably, it would be. I talked to the operations manager, let him know what was going on, and it probably would be diluted enough to go there, but if we can keep the problem under our own roof, we'd like to do that.
That's actually interesting that you're doing that, because in the past, they've just kind of shoved it over to Wareham.
Yeah.
Well, I think someday we're not gonna be able to do that. As we grow, we're not gonna be able to say, go to Wareham, so I
Yeah.
think it's better that we figure out how to handle these things now and
I
move
agree,
forward.
that's great.
And
Is
so,
there, are there any adverse reaction to the environment by us just pumping this stuff into the leaching field? Or
no,
not?
because there's some permit, we're blowing some of the permit numbers, but it's DEP, this is a small plant, DEP is used to this happening, so they'll guide us on what they want us to do with the permit.
So it's finding the source is what's the cost.
That's the
Yep.
cause right now, and as soon as we find the source, we'll be able to reseed the plant.
Because a fully designed plant can cause that as well, but we've had issues with it previously.
It may have been
When
twice.
we not had an issue?
I know there was once, I know there was once.
Fully
but
designed.
Yeah, definitely in the beginning there was.
It was twice. I think twice. I think this is the second time.
And so one of the other things that we're going to try to do once we've resolved this is see if there's any sort of pre-treatment option. Some sort of chemical we can add that will, because this is a man-made, the quaternary ammonia is a man-made chemical and it builds up, so it's not like, so just even a small, it builds up and up and up and then finally breaks through. So if we can find some kind of pre-treatment chemical that'll destroy it before it gives it the opportunity to build up, we don't know, we're just the preliminary stage, that we don't know
Right.
cost or anything, but if it's something that eliminates this problem in the future.
So it's
Yeah.
Perry Ave all the way down, or on
Perry
the
Ave
Towards the
side?
Bourne Road,
Foot
everything from Perry Ave east, so everything.
Well, actually, from the community building, that's where the pump station is, right?
Yes, so, but the
Right.
community building goes the other way. So,
Right,
yeah,
But so Leo's and, was
Yep.
that, all those businesses from Perry Ave, all on Main Street down, all around Belmont
Belmont
Circle.
Circle.
That's a little work to do.
and we've spoken to almost all the businesses. Yesterday, we went to the ones that would have the most cleaning products, and then today we spread out to all the smaller ones, so. We'll keep you updated, so there will be some costs associated with that. I think last time, we have to pump all the sludge out of all the basins, in order to reseed it with fresh sludge, because we have to
Yeah.
get all of that contaminant out of there. But the reserve transfer will give us the money to do that, so.
All right, thank you.
Negative problem number 2, that one of the new pumps at Taylor's Point Marina burned up yesterday also. It's a totally separate issue, and it's under warranty, but that's something else we're dealing with. I just wanted to make you aware of
Okay,
that.
thank you.
We are moving ahead with the hideaway plans. We have the preliminary plans coming in soon, and we'll be continuing to working forward on that. And we've been working with the engineers for the hydrogen sulfide going up from Hideaway into Wareham, and we think we've narrowed it down to a chemical bioxide we want to treat that with to kill all those odors. And we're just looking at the best way to feed it into the system right now.
Okay, that's it?
That's where
All
we're at
right,
today.
thank you. Any questions from anyone?
Can I just ask a question about the Hideaway plant,
Yep.
that project? And this really has to do with the way, the proposals came in, that, like, one of the proposals had a lot of work being done for, surveying and all kinds of stuff, and then Beta, who was the one that was chosen, didn't have that. Is there a proposal working in line with what needed to be done with the work, or was that
It should be.
adjusted?
There's some electrical work we have to do.
Right.
But so far, we haven't had any issues with the design.
Okay,
So-
that's great. And you have decided what your standard plan and standard electrical is, or that's what you're working on?
That's what we're going to finalize, so that
Okay.
going forward,
Yeah,
we're using the same everywhere.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, so moving on. Oh, well, the next one, number 8, policy. So we have amend rules and regulations, residential sewer system development fee. And I'm assuming Marlene is now gone, so I think that's on you again.
So, this was actually a policy we drafted prior to the Board of Selectmen's meeting that was canceled, so I actually had to refresh myself with it. So this came about when we had the applicant from 15 Bay Drive, where he had only paid about $200 to pay into the system. And what that was there's, where we have the system development fee, residential properties weren't paying that at all. So our proposal was if going forward, if we wanted residential properties to pay more into the system development fee. So we did do a comparison. We just kind of we didn't use that specific person, but we just took a parcel. So right now, they would only pay about $470 to tie into the sewer system. If we added the system development fee to any new residential property, they would pay about $75,600. If they had a
7,560.
7,500, yes, I'm sorry. If they had a 50 by 100 lot.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
This is only for like, excuse me, through the chair, this is only
go
for
ahead,
like
it's
new
okay.
construction.
Cor-
Like
yes,
this
this
is
would-
if you're
yeah.
already on the sewer system and you've already paid a betterment and you already have your thing, then you don't pay this. But if you're a new property that has never paid a betterment to join the system and this is really kind of in lieu of the betterment that was everyone paid to become part of the system, so. And it's reasonable compared to what you pay for a septic system now.
Yes. Can I get hooked?
Go ahead.
No, can I get hooked up, I said.
Anybody else? Peter, any questions? No comments?
No, I'm in full agreement.
Yeah.
Especially for, new residential, new construction. I mean, they should bear the cost of hooking up.
Jean, anything up there? I'm sorry, I keep checking up on you.
No, I'm absorbing this all.
All right, awesome. Just wanted to make sure so I don't forget you. All right, so,
Looking for a motion to approve the residential development fee as presented.
yes, if that,
okay.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion from MJ to approve the residential sewer development fee changes, a second by Peter, and I will do roll call vote. Jean?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes.
Melissa, yes. 5-0-0. All in favor? All set there.
thank you.
All right, so we have minutes. We have the minutes of 1:30, 2:27, 3:19, 3:26, 4:09, 5:14, and 5:28. And do we do them all separately generally? Is that how we want to do them, or can we just approve them all at once?
I would do unless there's concerns about anyone, I do one January through May 14th.
Okay,
I
so
wasn't at one of the meetings, so that's why I may have
Which is the one you're not at?
we have to abstain from one.
Yeah.
We'll take that separate then.
Yeah, in fact, I'm figuring out which one it was. March 10th.
March 10th, there is no
There is
10th.
Oh, no, wait, 19th. I
Alright.
can't read my...
So, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of 1:30, 2:27, 3:26, 4:09, and 5:14?
So moved.
Oh, and 528.
And 5:20?
No, we do that
No,
separately because
separate.
Jean can vote on that.
Because
Yeah.
Jean
Yeah.
can vote on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and 5:14.
Yep.
All right, motion by MJ, second by Peter. I'll do a roll call vote on those. Jean?
Abstain.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yep, so we have one abstention.
Yes.
Anne Marie, yes. Peter?
Yes.
MJ, yes. Melissa, yes. 4-0-1.
Motion to approve the minutes of March 19th, 2024.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes from March 19th, second from Anne Marie. I will do a roll call vote. Jean?
Abstain.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
Yes. Peter?
Abstain.
All right, 2 abstained.
Yes.
Melissa, yes. Anne Marie's yes. So that, I'm sorry, yeah, you're a yes.
Yes, I did.
Good. Sorry. So 3-0-2 on that, and the last one is the 528. We have a motion to approve 528 minutes.
So move.
Second.
All right, Peter Meyer moved, Anne Marie Serunian second. I will do a roll call vote. Jean?
I didn't see minutes for that date in my packet, so I guess I.
Do we want to forego those till next time, maybe?
Well, let's see, were they in,
they in
you're
there?
right, they are not in here, so I would,
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to withdraw the motion for 528 and approve them at the next meeting.
Great.
All right.
May 14th.
Correspondence.
Okay.
That would be, who's
Didn't
our,
see it.
oh,
Jean,
Didn't see
Jean.
it.
Me, I'm the clerk.
Yay.
I see a lot of correspondence to read.
I may not be any in there if there isn't.
I don't see any.
All
I
right.
didn't see any either.
All right, so there were no correspondence this evening. That was very easy. Do we have any discussion of future agenda items? Matt or anyone else?
Would we want to do the review of the outstanding properties at the next meeting
Yes, good idea.
for the allocations?
Yes.
Like that. All right, so Matt suggests for the next agenda items, we review the outstanding properties for our allocation spreadsheet. Right, committee reports, any? Would not imagine so. Okay, next meeting date is August 20th, 2024.
Oh, that seems so far away.
Are we not meeting in
And-
July?
Is there no need to because of the
We're doing
No,
it,
we're
remember?
doing the workshop,
We're doing
aren't
the
we, that
workshop,
day?
right?
Okay. So we're not meeting in for sewer in July. We're gonna do rates in August.
Yeah,
Okay, we can do that.
I mean, you have to do them before September, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's a good meeting to do it then. Okay, so we will, next meeting, August 20th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Yes.
moved.
Second.
So we have a motion from Anne Marie, second by Peter. I'll do roll call. Jean?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
Yes.
Melissa, Peter, yes. MJ,
Yes.
yes. All in favor, 500. We are adjourned. Thank you.